What's up guys, Acorn473 here, bringing you another YouTube video, and today I'm very excited to be bringing you my third annual E3 reactions and analysis for the Microsoft conference. I started doing this in 2016 because I love watching E3 but didn't see the point in making a video about games I can't play. At the time of recording, Sony, Ubisoft, Nintendo and I think Take-Two haven't had their conferences, but unless something super crazy goes down I won't be making a video about it. Borderlands 3 is the only game there that I really want to see announced. I've given up hope for Left 4 Dead 3 at this point. I didn't get to watch the conference live because of exams, so I had to watch all the trailers today, which is kind of disappointing. But anyway, in this video I'm going to talk about the games that impressed me most this year at the Microsoft conference. One game is also from the Bethesda conference that I feel deserves a mention. At the end there'll be a miscellaneous news thing where I briefly mention any major games I'm not personally excited for but you might be. Now, without any further ado, let's get into the video. Up first, and by far, the biggest announcement from Microsoft this year is Halo Infinite. Having done my research, I can confirm that this is a direct sequel to Halo 5, but with a renewed focus on Master Chief, which I'm sure we all wanted to hear. This trailer is more of a tech demo for a new engine which is called Slipspace, and the game is still a long way off. This leads me to believe that it will be a launch title for the successor to the Xbox One, which I think is fantastic for that console and should help it have a better start than the Xbox One did. Overall, I'm just really happy to see Halo back. It's an iconic franchise that hasn't really been treated with the respect it deserves, and I hope that this game will launch it back into the upper echelon of the industry. Next we have a game which I didn't care for until I watched the trailer, after which I became insanely excited. It's Just Cause 4. Just Cause 3 was disappointing in every aspect except destruction, and Just Cause 2 is just a phenomenal game. The most surprising thing about Just Cause 4 is that it releases this year, which is crazy fast. I can't even explain what makes Just Cause so amazing, so just go and watch the trailer because this game just looks like it's going to be pure insanity. There's like tornadoes and motorbikes going into helicopters and all. It's madness. Go watch it. Up next is Cyberpunk 2077, a game which I don't know a huge amount about besides what we see in the trailer. The release is still unknown. They didn't even show any gameplay at the conference, but all we need to get excited is the developer, Projekt Red. Famous for the Witcher franchise, anytime you see their name on a game, you know it's going to be of a high quality. It's similar trait that Rockstar, Bethesda and Valve have. When you see their name, you know it's going to be a great game. I love the cyber setting, the cyberpunk stuff, and the tone of the trailer. This is definitely one to watch, but no release dates confirmed. Fourth, we have, quite fittingly, Forza Horizon 4. I'm not a big racing game fan, but I can recognize excellence when I see it, and Forza is one of the Xbox's strongest first-party titles. This game will be set in London and released in 2018. It doesn't fit the doesn't fix the Xbox exclusive problem, I should say, but it's a start. If you're a racing game fan, this is a must-buy, although I tend to say that at every E3 because Forza is so consistent. I'm pretty sure there's been a Forza game at every E3 since I started doing these videos, so yeah, I'm not a huge fan of racing games, but this is definitely one to look out for. It looks like it's going to be fantastic. Up fifth, we have Gears 5, no longer Gears of War 5, which is fine since I don't think I've ever called it Gears of War in my life. It's always been Gears. I didn't play Gears 4, so I have no idea what's going on in the story portion of the trailer, but the gameplay at the end looks phenomenal. This is another 2019 release and will likely be cross-platform on the successor to the Xbox One. Still, another huge announcement for Microsoft, though it honestly makes me more excited for their next console than their current one. Like, they're stacking up a lot of heavy hitters that will probably end up being on their next console. So, I don't know if I'd pick them up for Xbox One, but still, great game, something to look forward to. Next we have Devil May Cry 5. I don't know a lot about this franchise other than it was popular from 2001 to 2008, then had a negatively received reboot in 2013. This game looks incredibly fun. I love the tone and animation style. I understand beloved characters are returning in the sequel, and it kind of makes me want to jump into the franchise as well. I just really like the hack and slash combat. It seems kind of like Bayonetta, which I'm a fan of as well. Devil May Cry 5 is releasing in spring 2019. A lot of the games in this video aren't coming out this year, which is kind of a bummer, but shit, what are you gonna do? Next up is the one Bethesda game on this list, Rage 2. Gameplay wasn't shown of the Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield, both of which I expect to be next-gen titles. Fallout 76 I didn't personally care for, though I'll address it briefly in the miscellaneous section. But anyway, Rage 2. This game looks very exciting. It honestly reminded me of Borderlands 2 with its tone, which is one of my favourite games of all time, and its gameplay is very Mad Max / Just Cause-esque, which doesn't surprise me as it's developed by the same team, being Avalanche Studios. The world looks fantastic and the gameplay looks fluid and exciting. Definitely a first-person shooter to watch out for if you're looking for something aside from, the main, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, all that Destiny kind of stuff. This will also be released spring 2019. In one of the more shocking E3 moments, in my opinion, we're getting a Battletoads sequel. Fucking Battletoads. What? For those that don't know, Battletoads was released in 1991 and is one of the most brutally challenging games ever made. The sequel will have 3-player couch co-op, which is really cool as I'm a huge fan of couch co-op games, as you can tell from my Left 4 Dead 2 obsession. This is such a weird game to have at E3, but it's definitely a cool announcement. Nearly done now, but next we have Metro Exodus, a game we covered last year. I plan on playing Metro 2033 on my channel at some point this year, as it seems like a pretty intriguing franchise. Metro Exodus looks somewhat more action focused than previous years. The prior two were almost horror games. They're quite Resident Evil-esque with their survival horror, limited ammo, that kind of stuff, but still really exciting nonetheless. Not a lot to say here. If you're into this kind of game, you probably already know about Metro, and I did discuss this last year, so moving on. I actually forgot to include this game in my initial draft for this, so I'll mention it briefly here. But Dying Light 2 was announced in this conference as well. I never got around to playing it, the first one, but it looked amazing, and this game seems like more of the same. If you're a zombie game fan, which I am, keep an eye on this one. I know my friend also mentioned Overkill's The Walking Dead, which I haven't really been keeping up with, and then there's Days Gone for PS4 players, so gotta fill that Left 4 Dead void in my heart somehow. And finally, my personal favourite game shown at E3 this year, We Happy Few. Orwellian fiction, so like sci-fi dystopia, meets Bioshock, meets like that classic British humour vibe. I'm actually honestly terrified that people keep comparing this to Bioshock, as those are massive shoes to fill, and I'm not sure if it can, but it's definitely the game I'm most excited for, probably this year, honestly. Red Dead 2 is up there, but this game is exactly what I'm looking for right now. It's an indie title with a kind of a creative vibe, and I used to love that kind of stuff. Indie titles are fun because you never know what you're gonna get. It's always wacky shit. And also, Microsoft bought the studio that makes this, Compulsion Games. Microsoft now own them, so I expect the game to receive a lot more financial support than it otherwise could have. I first reported on this way back at the 2016 conference when it was in early access, and now it finally has a release date of August 10th, 2018. And now I just have a few miscellaneous things to cover before I wrap up. This video has gone a lot faster. This is the first video I've ever scripted, so makes things run a little bit smoother. Okay, first things up, this is just kind of quick fire stuff that I have jotted down here. Battlefield 5 has gameplay revealed, and it's made me a lot more excited than the mediocre trailer we got a few weeks ago. I wasn't really a big fan of the Battlefield 5 reveal. I thought it was really just, the tone was so off for a World War II game, and I really wasn't a fan. But now I'm excited from the gameplay that I got to see at E3. Crackdown 3 still exists, now at more Terry Crews, and has a new release date of February 2019 for now. Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield were both announced, Bethesda RPGs. If you don't know who Bethesda are and you're watching this video, that makes no sense. But they're a long way off yet, and Fallout 76 is a multiplayer focused RPG set immediately after the nuclear war. So if you're a Fallout fan, which I'm not hugely, I haven't really got into that franchise yet, but this game is set a good bit before any of the other titles, like immediately following the nuclear war, which is kind of cool. And it's heavily multiplayer focused, but it can be played solo. But most importantly, and I alluded to this earlier, but Microsoft have confirmed they are working on the follow-up console to the Xbox One. I imagine certain games mentioned here, like Halo Infinite, Gears 5 and Cyberpunk 2077, are probably the most likely three, will end up launching on that console as well as the Xbox One. Overall, this conference was absolutely stacked, and probably the best Microsoft conference since I started watching in 2013. Huge announcements left and right, and plenty of games I really enjoy getting sequels or release dates. It's a great time to be a gamer. I hope you enjoyed the video. I always love making these, and I'll be back next year with another one. I might do something for the PlayStation conference or Nintendo if something really crazy is shown off, but it's unlikely. This message is brought to you by Sinewy473, stamped, sealed, and approved. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one, and I will see you again next time.